See here, I wanted to do a quick video on using Spirit Airlines. I don't know if any of you have used Spirit or if you're looking into using Spirit Airlines. I just wanted to give my review on Spirit Airlines and what I thought of it. I just recently, over Memorial Day weekend, I went on a trip to New Orleans and I used Spirit for the very first time. I had used Spirit because I, went through like Priceline. I think it was Priceline.com I had went through and, found the best deal. Well, at that point, I was not aware of the difference in Spirit Airlines between Spirit Airlines and all the other airlines. And there's a huge difference if you don't know. Spirit Airlines is known for the no thrills because there's absolutely no thrills that go along with your flight. It's basically a bare flight, meaning you get the low prices of the flight and nothing else, right? So if I would say that the person who this kind of flight really benefits, this kind of airline actually really benefits, is maybe someone who's going on a short trip who doesn't need to take much with them, and all they can need to take is like a personal belonging bag, like a backpack or a very small bag that will put a few clothes in it or maybe some flip-flops and a few accessories, and that's it. Because you can take a small bag like that for free. I think it's like 16 by 14 by 12, I think, are the measurements of the free bag. Anything above that, a carry-on and also your checked luggage, will cost you. And it's quite a bit that costs you more than what you would pay if you're using a regular airline. So, but they're saying that because of the flight is so low, which honestly I really didn't think it was all that low, that makes up for having to pay for your luggage in such high prices. So the one thing you need to know is if you are going to have a carry-on and if you are going to have extra luggage to check, you need to do it online before you get to the airport, because it is much cheaper to do it online. If you get to the airport and need to check your luggage and add your carry-on, then you're going to pay extra. And the difference is, I believe online, I can't remember the exact price for carry-on because I didn't have carry-on. I think it was about $35. Actually, the carry-on was more than checking your luggage. The check luggage was $21 online, but if you waited and did it at the airport, I think it was like $45 or $50 at the airport. Also, you want to make sure that you print out your boarding passes before you go to the airport, because if you have to do it with the agent, then you're charged, I think it's an extra $10 for doing it with the agent. So you just want to make sure that you get your boarding pass done before you go to the airport. Don't expect anything on the plane, like free pop or free water or free coffee or chips or anything like that. You have to pay for everything. Remember, it's no thrills. And I have no problem with any of that, because I after I did some research on the company, I understand what they're doing. Okay, so I had no problem with the no thrills, and having to pay, extra for everything. But honestly, actually, I would have gotten a different flight if I would have known about having to pay for all the luggage and everything, because honestly, it came out to be more than what I would pay for a different flight. So, just to tell the truth, honestly, because I fly quite a bit, so the other airlines that I use, I won't mention any names because I don't want to drop names now, but I think are very comparable, especially when you're checking luggage. And in addition, getting the amenities on the plane. So, with all that said, I had no problem with all that. My issue is with the customer service. we had a very trying time coming back home. On our way back home, our flight got delayed while we were up in the air. We couldn't land because of weather, which is fine. Obviously, I don't want to land and try and land in bad weather. Didn't want to do that. So we hovered, we were up there for a while waiting, for clearance to land. Never got the clearance, not at least in time enough, because our plane was running out of fuel. So our pilot had to go to Houston. We were supposed to go to Dallas. Our flight had to get diverted to Houston. And when we got to Houston, we sat there on the plane waiting and waiting for them to come gas up the plane. Well, we lost some more time doing that. And by the time they finished gassing or fueling our plane, our pilot then informed us that his hours were up for flying. He couldn't fly anymore due to government regulations. So, with all that said, we had to get off of the plane and we had to take a bus from Houston to Dallas, which was about almost 4 hours it took. The whole bus ride situation, leaving Houston, going to the bus was a mess. We really didn't have any guidance. We didn't really have anyone telling us, here's these buses, you get on this bus, you get on that bus. They weren't accounting for anybody. All they were doing was counting heads to see, okay, 55 people can get on this bus, 55 people can get on that bus. But, I have a feeling that there are probably quite a few people that may have got left behind or may have missed the bus. Granted, we were all supposed to stay together within the gate area and then leave when they told us, but there was just no direction. It was pretty much like, follow the crowd and just get on a bus. So that's one thing that lacked. There was no direction, no one giving you feedback on what's coming next and what we're supposed to do. Then after we finally made it to Dallas, I still had one more connection because I was supposed to connect to come all the way home to Chicago. It was late. It was about midnight, and the attendant there was rude. I mean, it was like he was ready for us to get there. They knew we were coming in off the bus, and he was probably trying to get prepared for some angry people. And he was just as mean right back. He really didn't provide us with any help. All he told us was that, I'm sorry, but we're not going to be able to help you. You're going to have to, there's nothing that's going out now. You're going to have to wait until the next day or the day after to get a plane ride out. And he really didn't want to work with us at all. But me, I'm the type of person that just, I don't give up without a fight. So I asked him and I talked to him about what flight is going out as soon as possible. Well, how many people are on standby? And okay, no one was on standby. So we'll put us on standby. It's a 6 o'clock in the morning flight. Do you really think everyone's going to make it on the flight? Probably not. So, put us on standby. So he put us on standby. Well, he didn't. Someone else did, and it took her forever to do it because she didn't know how to do it. So she had to ask someone else for questions. And then it was just the talking back. Like, there was another attendant that was there. She heard us talking about how we thought, the pilot should have known that his hours were about up, and we could have got someone else to come. But anyways, this other attendant had overheard our conversation. She was butting in saying, oh, well, it's not the pilot's fault, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, don't argue with the customer, okay? Don't put your 2 cents with the customer, and I just felt like the whole Spirit Airlines team was very unprofessional. Even on the planes, the flight attendants there and back were very unprofessional, very nonchalant. There's something about your stature, that really I see on different airlines, not Spirit, but the other airlines that I've flown on. You know, the stature of the flight attendants, the stature of the pilots, you know, nothing for them seemed like they've, it didn't seem practiced for one. It seemed like, you know, they were fumbling on everything, you know, when they're talking about the different safeties, fumbling on the safety, having to restart their safety because they got confused. Things like that. I've never seen on a flight before, except for this one. This is the very first time. There was a lot of fumbling. The flight attendants didn't really know what they were doing very well. And everything's outdated. I mean, nowadays you have the screens in the plane that actually goes over what the flight attendant does. But these flight attendants had everything and they were showing and talking it through themselves. You know, stop being so cheap, Spirit. You know, I know that you're cheap because you have the no thrills, but some things you can splurge on a little bit, like your flight attendants, you know. And then I know obviously that because of the cheapness of the airline, that the staff probably isn't getting paid as much as other like flight attendants on different airlines are probably getting paid, so that probably figures in as well. But there's still, I'm sorry, you still remain professional, you know, in any job that you're doing. So I just thought the customer service was terrible. I thought it really lacked professionalism, and that's one thing that, you know, will make or break me. I'm sorry, but I will never use Spirit Airlines again after this. It was my first time using them, and will be my last time using Spirit Airlines. So that's my review on Spirit Airlines. I hope that it helped you, you know, in your decision on whether you want to use Spirit Airlines or not. Thank you. Bye.